Gym, bootcamp, and PT studio owners. Today, I'm going to cover the steps that you need to implement to turn a new trial in your facility or your business into a long-term member. And guys, we had a lot of issues with this. I kind of like always say to my guys, there's a flow in business that you need to follow, right? First of all, you need to learn how to market your business. Then you need to learn how to sell. Then you need to learn how to retain at scale. By messing up the way that you learn, it really, really holds your business back from long-term success. Now, what happened with us, like when we started, I remember it was like 3 years ago. We were running like Facebook ads. It was like kind of the dream time to do it. And we actually had 171 trials start in a singular month. And we had no systems. It was just like, hey, the ads were popping off. We'll call them. We're doing the consults. And everything that I'm going to present to you today, we had to learn over time. We had to learn that over time by failing, right? By doing things really well that worked, right? And having these tactics, because once you learn how to market and sell, then it's how do you retain your members long-term, right? And I'm going to cover some things that I definitely learned the hard way, but really helped us get to that 1,000 member mark. Now, you might not want to get to 1,000 members. You might want to get to 150, 200, 250. But guys, by implementing this, you're going to have a lot more successful gym than what you have right now. Now, the first thing, guys, is you want to nail your initial consultation. Now, whether that's over the phone or face-to-face, depending how you sell. But in that consultation, you need to cover their goals, their pain points, what they've done in the past, their injuries, and when they want to train. Right, we have in our Inner Circle program, we have like a much more thorough consultation process that you run through. It only takes you about 20 to 30 minutes to run through this, but you need to make sure you cover these things because any trial that starts needs to be ready for that ongoing sale. And what I mean by that is in our clubs, we had like a lot of different offers that we ran. So for this one, I'll talk about a 28-day challenge, which is $199. So they would come in and would do their consultation, would show them around the club, show them about MyZone, show them about where the bathrooms are, how to use InBody. And then in that consultation, we would set them up. So we would take the $199 today, and then their payments would be set up for ongoing at $65 a week for 24 weeks, which was our ongoing transformation package. So you need to make sure that's all set up and really, really clean. And the reason for this, guys, is because when you're setting someone's goal, if they're doing a 28-day trial, let's just be honest, they're not going to achieve like a crazy amount of body transformation and life-changing results. So within that consultation, what you want to set up for them, right, is what their timeline is over the next 6 months. And that's really what that consultation really did. We had a lot of social proof, and you can do it over the phone as well, but make sure that initial consultation and setup is on point so that they're ready to go for the next 6 months for you at a minimum. That's why I'm not a massive fan, guys, of just letting people like jump into classes. I think you're doing a disservice to the person letting them jump into a class without a consultation, and you're definitely doing a disservice to your business. I can't stand that model because we're in the health and fitness industry where we're meant to fucking care about people. And there's no way you can care for someone by letting them jump into a class or like gung-ho and fucking crazy, right? How does that show how much you care for someone? Because they've done other gyms, they've tried online programs, they're coming to you for a reason. They've probably been let down, and maybe they've let themselves down. But that consultation really sets the benchmark and the groundwork for future success for both you of signing them up as a client and for them to reach the result. So you have to have a really good consultation process. Now, the next ones, guys, we're going to like cover is on experience, right? Within the club in their first month, and especially their first week is incredibly important. And I can't stress this enough. Welcome all your members with a smile, no matter what's happening in your day. And it's why one of our really big pillars when we're hiring, and I'll have to thank my ex-business partner, Connor, for this because he's such a great people person, right? Is hiring really happy, friendly people in the clubs at all time. Right? Because this is their sanctuary. Your gym is their sanctuary, and first impressions last, right? So you want to make sure that you welcome with them with a smile, that everyone in your club is super friendly, no matter what's happening in their external life. And I can't stress this enough because I just, did a trial at a gym about 3 weeks ago in Sydney. I'll never say what that gym was, right? And I kind of turned up. I was in the area, I popped in for a class. I was sitting there just kind of doing a stretch, and no one said hello. No one walked up and was like, hey, like, is it your first session? The trainer was just chatting to the members that had been there for like 3 months and 6 months that he got on with, but they didn't actually say hello. They didn't make me feel welcome, right? And I was going there to sign up, right? I wanted to sign up because I wanted to do a specific type of training for like a couple of months. And I didn't join up there because I was like, hey, like this gym, like it just doesn't flow like that. It's not a friendly place to be in. So I actually went to a gym down the road, and that could have been fixed by simply coming, saying hello, welcoming to the club, showing me around, right? And the trainer not just talking to the, 4 or 5 people that he was talking to before the class. And the next one, guys, is this is really, really important because we're so big on, community and letting your best members really facilitate the sale for you. So what we'll do is when someone is there for their first session, I'm going to use a group training model here, right? Is for that first session is you want to introduce them to a partner for that session. And we would introduce them to our best members, and you guys would all have them, our members who have the best form, the best technique, they've been around for 2 years, they absolutely love your fitness business and they'll do anything for you. So let's utilize those members to say, hey, this is Jimmy's first class. Hey, Jimmy, this is Liz. Liz is going to kind of show you around the circus. If you have any questions, the trainers will be around to assist you. But if you have any doubt, just follow Liz. She's kind of like the furniture here. She absolutely loves it. And then Liz will say hello, will welcome me, kind of guide me around a little bit, because that first session, guys, is the most daunting. That first session is also always the most daunting for a new member. So introducing them to someone who absolutely loves your business, there's generally no negatives of that. And of course, guys, the member isn't going to coach the person on how to squat, how to deadlift. That's not their role. They're just going to make sure that, everything goes nice and smoothly, because it gets a little bit chaotic running group training classes sometimes, right? And then you also want to make sure that the person who's doing their first session is introduced to all the coaches. And that's a goal over the month. You might have 1 or 2 coaches, which makes it easy. In our clubs, we had up to 9 coaches, right? We had casuals and full-timers. So you want to make sure that whenever you see someone new, and we would actually, in MindBody, which is a system we used, it was really cool. There was like a star next to someone whose first session was. So we'd make sure that we always go and introduce ourselves with a smile and say we always, are here to help them. If they have any questions, just reach out to me at any time. But then once you've closed the sale, guys, so, you've kind of closed the sale, they've jumped into the session, you've nailed it, everyone's like happy and friendly in your facility. You want to make sure that that post-sale email is really, really powerful and beneficial. So in our post-sale email, we would have a link to the Facebook group, right, where they join like the private members group. Right, really important. We'd have links on where to park, because it was quite tricky to park in some of our gyms when it was like really busy. We'd also have a link to our meal plans, which I'm going to talk about in a couple of points. And you want to think like when you're sending your initial email out, right, you want to send an email out that covers them for their first week. Right? It might have an FAQ of like, some questions that they might ask, right? But that email, because your first email that you send, guys, will have the highest open rate out of every email you send for the rest of your life in the business. So you want to make sure that first email is really, really detailed and covering the key points to get them through to week 2. Right? So with ours, it was parking, it was joining the Facebook group, because that was really high value. And it had like a couple other things about meal plans and how you book in using the app, because we did use MindBody. Then once they've done their first session, guys, and this gets missed so much, it's absolutely sickening, right? And if you watch this and you miss it, that's your bad from now on in. Because when someone does a session, right, they haven't trained. Say, imagine me, I might have not trained in 3 or 4 months. You've just ran me through a high intensity interval session. My lungs are fucking burning, right? My legs might be like super sore, might be like going to the bathroom and like wincing for like, 2 or 3 days, which happens to our clients, right? Is you want to make sure that after their first session, you check in with them within 24 to 48 hours. Now, guys, you can automate this with systems, but it goes a really long way just to message someone to be, hey, Nath, mate, how was your first session? Let me know how the body's feeling, mate. Can't wait to see you in again on Friday, right? Just make sure that you check in with them and show that love and care, because them starting a fitness program, right, or your person getting in to a new gym or a new facility, it's different and it's daunting. And you want to make sure, guys, that you have their back at all times, right? And checking in within that 24 to 48 hours. It's an easy system. You do it at 7:30 every morning after your class. You have it on a checklist where it's like check in with all the members who was their first class yesterday, and you're on Saturday, you check in with them on Monday, right? Keep it nice and easy, but make sure you do those very basics because it goes a really long way because people buy off other people they like. No one buys off someone they dislike. So getting the trial to really like you and know that that you really care for them, right, will go a long way to getting your conversion rates from like maybe 40% trial to full price sale up to like 60 or 70, which some people within our inner circle do every single month. One of our other pillars we'll track. So when people didn't join up for, our 24-week transformation program, we would track the reasons, right? And that was like the first level. So it'd be like, Nathan didn't join because of this reason and blah, 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 right? When we got like a lot more high tech is we would actually track their movement and their habits. So rather than just tracking the bullshit reasons people give you, why don't we track the pillars that they need to hit to sign up and become your best client, right? So some of our pillars were, did they attend 3 sessions every single week on average? And that was actually the biggest pillar, guys. If we got them over that mark, those members signed up at 65% and higher, that singular pillar. But then we'd also track, as we had InBody in our clubs, we would track, did they get a positive result? And I know you might not have InBody, but you've definitely got scales. They've definitely got a camera they can take photos on. You can get them to get tape measures and things like that. But did they get a positive result? Right. And then the last one that we tracked, because we used MyZone, was how many MyZone MEPs did they use? Because MyZone was a really great retention tool within our club. So we would give all our new members who start a 28-day trial on MyZone. It's kind of like a puppy dog sale, and then they could buy it after the 28 days, right? Because that was a really good sales tool, and people get quite addicted to those, those apps like MyZone and things like that. Absolutely amazing tool for group training. Highly recommend checking it out if you're not using it at the moment. But those were the pillars that would cover. But the biggest one was that 3 sessions per week on average, guys. And also, like within the month, whether you have customized nutrition programs or however you do nutrition, right, you need to make sure you cover the basics on healthy eating. And guys, we did this by giving out meal plans. We had vegan meal plans, vegetarian, pescatarian, carnivore, all these different type of meal plans that we got written by a certified nutritionist who's a professional. Because it was our mentality during the first month, and I want you to have the same, is this person's coming to us, right, to get a result with their health and fitness. Right? You don't want to make it so complicated that it gives them so many opportunities to fail at every step of the way because they've probably failed themselves in the past. Right? So we would give them basic meal plans to follow to keep their nutrition as simple as possible because we're already adding in accountability from our coaches. We're already adding in training. We're already adding in a new facility, a new place to park, new habits. Let's not add in tracking your fucking calories on MyFitnessPal because they're just setting themselves up to fail. We go nice and easy within the first month. And then down the line, guys, whatever your nutrition philosophy is, I don't really care because it all really works as long as the person does it. Let's just be honest, right? Down the line, whatever your nutrition philosophy is, that's where you teach them in that 24-week and ongoing program. But keep their nutrition incredibly basic. And so it's pretty much impossible not to lose in their first month with the nutrition guidance that you're giving them. I really love precision nutrition stuff. It's very smart, it's on point, very basic to follow for the average person, right? Then we got 3 other points, right? You might have to go back and like rewatch or re-listen to this, but the next ones are, have you shown them a positive result? And positive results happen in so many things. A positive result isn't just the person who's lost 2 to 6 kilos, right? That is a positive result. And if you can show that, that's great. But what other positive results have they started? They've started to come in and train, that 2 to 3 to 4 days a week. They weren't, because you've done that consultation, they weren't doing that before, right? So they're already showing the right habits, right? They might have followed their meal plan 60% of the time, which they weren't doing the previous month. Again, a positive result. They might have booked themselves in for, an event that we have coming up over the next 16 weeks, which is actually my next point. But you want to show them during this process in this trial period, all the positive things they've done. And it can be as simple. I remember I had a client named Frank. He was having 9 coffees a day, right? When he came to me, he did a trial, right? He was doing 3 free personal training sessions at the time. And the positive result that I showed Frank is we got that 9 down to 7. Again, way too much coffee. Let's just be honest. right? But that was a positive result. And I got the opportunity to train Frank, right, for the next 3 years off the back of that. And then he went to another trainer and we eventually got him down to 1 coffee a day, right? Show them those positive results and think outside the box. Positive isn't just weight loss. It isn't just fat loss. It isn't just muscle gain. You know, it could be that the first time they, you know, first session they fucking, you know, were in their car for 10 minutes questioning their life and how fit they are. And then, you know, 3 weeks later, they did a session and they're high-fiving people after the class, right? How they're recovering, how they're feeling, right, within the sessions. And one of the secret tactics, and guys, you have to like have a really good plan for your gym on this. And it might be like a podcast for another day for you guys, but when we would plan our events 12 months in advance. So every November would meet up and we would map out all of our events. Last year in COVID, fucking threw everything in a pile, but it doesn't mean you don't do it, right? So we would plan all our events, our internal events, our external events, and things like that. So one of our pillars to getting people to sign up is we would aim to get them booked into an event 4 weeks or 16 weeks ahead of time, right? It could be 4, 8, 12, 6 weeks, whatever. But one of our pillars was we were trying to get them to as a soft sale to lock into an event with us. So then when we talk about going on to the ongoing program, we're using the event as like, hey, we're training for Tough Mudder, or we've got our strength testing again in 12 weeks. I won't go into the different events we ran, but it's a little secret tactic that goes a long way. It's like getting a softer yes because they're committing to whatever the event is. And then when you go for the, you know, the real yes of getting them to sign up on 24 weeks, they're already kind of locked in. And the last one, and I can't stress how important this is. In the first week and the first month, guys, all you're trying to build is a great trainer or coach and client relationship. And it all starts with trust. Okay. You need to make sure you show that you love and care for them. Make sure that they know where to park, where everything is in your facility. You know, make sure you look after them in the first session. Build that trust first. No great relationship starts without trust. And it's the same with this. Can you build up trust? Do they believe in you? Do you believe in them? Then on top of that, you add the coaching element where you're making sure they're lunging, you know, correctly, that they're moving correctly, that they're booking in for the right classes, that they're, you know, following the nutrition plan that you gave them. And what you want to try and do, and I play like a little bit of a game in the gyms and then also in my inner circle program, right? What the aim is, if you ever join the inner circle, and I want you to use it in the gyms as well, is how can you make your dream client in the first 28 days? How can you make that person do everything that you want them to do? So if you coach them in 2 years' time, they're not an absolute fucking nightmare to deal with, right? And that is, there's certain things like there's weekly check-ins in the gym. It's like, hey, you know, reply to my text messages. Do your weekly in-body scans or fortnightly in-body scans. Part of the coaching relationship is like, hey, if you're ever struggling, please reach out to me via email or via text message or however it is. Right? It's making those clear communication platforms, how you can be contacted, when you reply, when you don't reply, right? And then what you want to do is build that great coach and client relationship, guys, so that way when this person stays with you for the next 2 years, you've actually created and coached and mentored and guided them to be the best client for your business and someone that everyone absolutely loves having within the business, and they're not an absolute nightmare. Even the little basics, like if you ever miss a session, we're going to text you, please message me so I make sure everything's okay, because I'm worried about you if you don't turn up to our 5:15 session. Set up those habits and really map out all the things that your best clients do consistently. And your aim in that first 28 days is to get all the new members to add those new habits into their life so they become your best client. So guys, just to recap, right? Very, very quickly, okay? First one, make sure you have a great consultation, right? Cover their goals, cover their planning, and make sure you set them up for their ongoing sale. Make sure you're introducing them with a smile. Only hire happy people within your business, right? Everyone's introduced with a smile, and that should go for every session, right? Introduce them to training partners, those members that have been in your clubs for a long time, right? Let the members make your life easier, and make sure you just coach them to a really, really, really high level within the first month, and really look after them, make sure all their form's correct. And I know it gets a bit crazy running group classes. Make sure you've nailed that post-sale email. So after the consultation, when they pay you money, make sure that email is all locked in, right? Really clear, precise email that helps them win over the next 7 days. Check in with them after their first session. They're probably sore, they're probably puffed, they're probably unsure about something. Check in, ask them how they found the session, and confirm when they're booked in for their next one. Guys, remember to don't track why people leave, track the habits that you need them to hit for people to stay as ongoing members. And the biggest one for us is, are they attending 3 sessions per week? But use your tools, use your tracking tools like Scales or InBody, use MyZone, use how much they reply to their coaches in the first 28 days. A sure sign that someone's not going to sign up is when you're reaching out to them every Tuesday, they're not replying, right? Track the metrics over what facilitates a sale, over that bullshit stuff that everyone tracks, or this is why Jimmy didn't sign up. Then I want you to cover the basics with what they're eating. You don't have to go advanced. Make it really basic and make it easy for the person to win with their nutrition in their first month. I don't recommend counting calories. I don't recommend counting macros. Keep it simple and give them all that stuff that they need down the line. But just getting into fitness is often enough for the average person who's starting in your facility. They've already got enough going on. They've got kids and their fucking husband and whatever it is, their work stuff. Make it easy in their first month. Don't overawed them with information. I'm sure those watching or listening have been overawed with information in the past. You want to make sure that you show them a positive result. Physical, mental, emotional, how they're recovering from sessions. What's the positive results they achieve? And you got to think outside the box. Positive results in health and fitness, as everyone watching or listening knows, isn't just losing weight. It isn't just getting stronger. It's the way we bounce up out of bed in the morning. It's how we really look forward to those sessions because they love the Wednesday boxing class with Coach Max, right? There's so many positive results that our businesses achieve. It's why it's truly the greatest business in the world, is being a part of health and fitness. You want to make sure you get them booked in for an event if you have those planned. Make a yearly calendar of your events. At a minimum, guys, do the next 12 weeks. Get them booked into an event. It's a soft sale. Then they'll have something to be excited for, whatever those events are, whatever works with your values. And the last thing, and it's probably the most important, guys, is make sure you build that great coaching and client relationship. Teach them what you want them to do to be your best client. Help them win. Build that trust and authority first, and then you can give them all the advanced tactics down the line. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you ever want to reach out to me, probably the best place is on Instagram, Jimmy_Pomponio. If you're ever interested in working together with joining our program or our agency, or me hiring you VA or something, just check in with me on any of my social media channels, and would really love to chat to you and help in any way that I can. Guys, as I always say, don't just watch or listen to this and do fuck all about it, right? Take some action. I gave you like a list of things today. I don't expect you to do everything today. You can go beast mode if you want, but at least just do one of them. Just implement one of them. You've done one thing this week that's going to improve your business. We do that 52 weeks a year. That's 52 things you've done, but just don't be that person who consumes content and does nothing. There's nothing I dislike more in the world than people who do that. So let's just take one piece of action from this presentation today.